Good morning, Vibrant Living Alchemists. It's Friday. It used to be that Fridays, not that long ago, were a time to look forward to the weekend, to get out and party, or to be with people. And it has a different flavor now. Have you noticed? Jean Lynn Catherine Carlson. I am a Vibrant Living Alchemist. And I am here this morning and every time I show up in the world to spread joy. That has been my mission, I realized recently, all my life, to spread joy over this land. And if it's through the airwaves, that's great. If it's eye to eye on a street, that's fine. And this morning, this week, I've been showing up offering tapping, because tapping on the meridians, on the Chinese meridians, helps soothe our animal bodies, soothe our bodies as we move through this. I'm going to ring this bowl now, and then I'm going to share a little bit, and we will do some tapping. And thank you for being here live or for connecting with the recording, and I welcome you. Do you hear that? At least on my end, that's silence. It may not be silent where you are. And if it's not, I invite you to find a time today to breathe, go to the bottom of the breath, and really allow silence. We're going to do it one more time together, and this time breathing in, and at the bottom of the breath, even if there are children or animals, or you're outside walking and there's people around and there's noise, feel the silence at the bottom of the breath, because we can feel it as well as hear it. So breathing in and releasing all the way to the bottom of the breath. It is here, from here, that all possibilities arise. Several things have been coming across my plate since the time we talked and tapped yesterday. And one of them is this idea, and I think I'm going to stick with this idea, and let's roll with this idea. Yesterday afternoon, I went on a long walk up through the hills and through the trees, and was just every once in a while stopped and just listened to how silent it was. All you could hear was nature, an occasional bird, rustling of leaves. It was very, very still. Now, typically on this trail, I live in a part of the world where a lot of people walk or bike. So typically on this trail, you hear more people sounds, people walking, people's voices from the distance, bicyclers. And yesterday afternoon, it was just incredibly silent. And as I walked, I was reminded of my friend Maggie Schreiber, who has, she on Thursdays, every Thursday at noon, she does an oracle reading on the Anamkara house here on Facebook, in that room of this big Facebook house. And yesterday she was talking about how she could hear, she could sense the world healing itself. And as I walked, I really got what she was saying. It's almost like the world was invited to a party, and they're having a party outside. The creatures are less inhibited by mankind, personkind right now. And we personkinds, we humans, for the most part, across the globe, are inside, are staying put, are sheltering in place, whatever the languaging is in your community. And what's so fascinating about that to me is that when this earth was created and mankind, humankind, developed consciousness and in the evolution of things, humankind sort of took over the planet. Now, years ago, I was teaching a Bible, decades ago, I taught a Bible series. It was an overview of the Bible called the Bethel series. And we had certain principles that we memorized in that. I both took it and taught it. And one of the principles was man was given, I don't remember the exact wording of the principle, but it was about man, that old language, humankind being given stewardship of the earth, granted stewardship of the earth. And I remember the image. It was sort of a flag. It was a man standing holding a pole with a flag that I think it said stewardship, that was kind of like furled around him, and it was into the earth. Now, stewardship is different than ownership. And what I see is that as we humankind, evolved consciousness kind, as we were evolving consciousness, we developed, instead of giving ourselves stewardship, we gave ourselves ownership and control. And ownership and control over the earth is way different than stewardship. And depending on where you are on the scheme of awareness and interest, it's, you've certainly heard of global warming. You've certainly heard about about Gaia and Mother Earth and the ozone layer and the so many things that have been where the Earth has been trying to get our attention and saying we are out of balance. You, dear humans, and the rest of us, you kind of left us out, and we're out of balance. And we've been needing a get back into balance event for us, something that we would pay attention to. And we co-created, at some level, participated in this creation of a super virus that would scare the bejesus out of all of us and make us stay home and stay put and slow down. Slow down, go within. All healing begins within. All blooming begins underground in the dark. So as we ponder this, and I know for me, the revelations are coming. A lot of this I just heard this morning. And when I say I heard it, it's like reading something and then getting insights. So these things come to us. These are intuitive senses, intuitive thoughts. And when we get still, they come more. So what if this time we take for reflection, for turning within and allowing the wisdom of this planet, the wisdom of these bodies, the wisdom of love, the wisdom of the ages, what if we allow all of that to come through us and allow the insights and the inspirations for a better living, a better harmonious living with each other, with the creatures, not just our furry creatures, but the wild unknown creatures, for the little creatures we cannot see, that actually the viruses that help us digest our food, sometimes I think, ooh, I don't want to see that, when they talk about like all the little living creatures that are inside us, that are part of our biomes on the inside. It's a messier place on the inside than we know. And we cannot, if we sanitize it all, we won't live. If we sanitize all of those little creatures out of our life, we wouldn't live. Actually, it wouldn't happen. So, my invitation to us is to keep listening, turning within, and surrender. There's one thing I was going to bring to our attention today, and that is there's a practice that's called putting things in a God box. You can call it the love box. You can call it the universe has my back box. You can call it the whiskey box, whatever you want to call it, that represents the greater intelligence. The greater intelligence that is life, that is love, the greater intelligence. And to the extent that you trust that greater intelligence, put all of your concerns about this, all of your hopes inside. So this is what I call my God box, and I have a little journal in there, and I write things down, and I'm going to be activating this God box. It's been a little silent for a while. I'm going to be activating that and put in the hope. I surrender the hope that through this time alone, this time in solitude, that we humans will connect with a deeper wisdom that will show us how to bloom ourselves and how to bloom anew on this planet as a species, in collaboration and in harmony with the rest of the species. That means we return to stewardship of our talents, our times, and our treasures. And we come out of our houses and are able to connect in a new way. Somehow it reminds me of the first How the Grinch Stole Christmas half-hour special. And at the end of it, the Who's down in Whoville come out, and even without the presents, they come out and they hold hand to hand and they sing. Could we come together after all this in love, recognizing who we are as divine beings, as human beings having a spiritual experience? We come together and we recognize, more and more of us recognize this, and we do our best to live it. Doesn't mean we won't still have fear, doesn't mean we won't still have conflict. However, we can approach fear and approach conflict in a whole different way, trusting that there is something bigger, something more mysterious afoot. So that's my sermonette this morning. Thank you for listening. And now let's do a little bit of tapping before we go. So tapping on the karate chop. And by the way, actually, I didn't spray my hands yet this morning. So if you have concerns about touching your face, please use a hand sanitizer or wash your hands, and then feel free to touch. And if that doesn't concern you, you get to take care of yourself exactly as you are, where you are. So here we go. On the karate chop. Even though, and you repeat after me, even though there's a lot of fear in the air, and there's terror of the unknown, and I want to find a way to be better with fear, to release the unknown, and love and accept all of me. Right now, right here. And shaking that out. And again, on the karate chop. Even though there's all this fear in the world, fear of the unknown, and I want to find a way to release this fear. First, acknowledge it, lean into it, and then release it, and love and accept all of me anyway. Good morning, Maggie. Thank you for joining us. We're just started tapping. And this morning what we're doing is we're looking at how nature has we've co-created a way to let nature have a party and them be in charge of the planet while we stay home and ponder a better direction for us. So now, how do we do that? We're tapping so that we tap out the fear and we allow all of the brilliance and brilliant insights to be co-created with this lovely planet. So one more time on the karate chop. Even though there's all this fear of the unknown, and I want to find a way to sing with Mother Nature instead. Thank you for that, Maggie. To sing with the Mother Nature. Yes. And love myself, and even challenge myself to love this coronavirus. Shaking that out. All right. So now let's go to the beginning of the eyebrows. So now we're going to be tapping. If you've not tapped with me before, we simply go to the meridians. I'll point them to you. We're just going to do the beginning of the eyebrows, the outside under the eyes, the nose, under the nose and the chin, and the collarbone. And then we'll do the wrists, where we just turn our hands and do that, and the top of the head. All right, so here we go. Beginning of the eyebrows. All this fear. I've got to have a new relationship with fear. Sometimes fear takes me over. Under the nose and on the chin, and that does not feel good. On the collarbone. When fear takes me over, on the top of the head, I can't think straight. On the beginning of the eyebrows, and all I can see is gloom and doom. And on the outside of the eyebrows, and then it's no longer fear under the eyes, but paralyzing panic. Under the nose and on the chin. And fear is actually a gift. On the collarbone. Fear is a gift to tell me, I don't feel safe right now. And when I receive the gift of fear, and then top of the head, and acknowledge it, beginning of the eyebrows, and say, oh, you don't feel safe right now. And on the outside of the eyebrows, and add a little love to myself. Maybe take a deep breath. Under the nose and on the chin. Maybe hug myself. On the collarbone. Maybe take a quick walk around the block. On the wrists. Maybe sing with Mother Nature. Then fear can dissolve. On the beginning of the eyebrows. Instead of me with my thoughts, on the outside of the eyebrows, turning it into panic. Under the eyes, I turn it into panic. Under the nose and on the chin, when I start heaping fearful thoughts onto the fear. On the collarbone. So what if today, on the wrists, I can see fear as a gift, and on the top of the head, and I can take care of myself. Okay, let's shake that out. So just check in with yourself. I'm curious if there are any any of the particular words that you heard that were particularly striking to you, you can put those into the chat. I'll be, to the best of my ability, be looking at the chat and catching that. And then also feel in for yourself, like, what about that? What possibilities arose in that tapping that you'd like to go forward with? So we're going to do one more round, so feel into that. So what you notice is we tapped on when we tap out, and then we tap in. We tap out the parts that not the parts of ourselves, I don't mean that. We tap out the feelings that are not serving, the thoughts that are not, we tap out the energy, the stuck energy that is created by the feelings and the thoughts, and then we tap in. When that space is created, we tap in what we want. So there we were looking at, instead of feeling fear and turning it into panic by contributing fearful thoughts, we could feel the fear, look at it as a gift, and say, oh, I'm not feeling safe right now. There's something that maybe I could do about that right now. Maybe get a glass of water, maybe go out for a walk, maybe turn on some good music, maybe finding something inspirational on Facebook, whatever. And you could do that, and then the fear will naturally dissolve because we'll help our bodies feel safe. The other thing I talked about doing that you could do is to put the fearful thoughts into the God box and do a daily practice of surrendering this, the highest and best outcome for yourself and for this planet, surrendering it to the divine. Because guess what? If you haven't noticed, we are not in charge anymore. We thought we were. We thought we were in charge of this world. No, we're not. So we're being humbled in a great way, in a great opportunity. So that's what we're doing when we tap. So now let's do one more round, and let's see where this takes us. So we're going to tap out a little bit more. So feel in, like, okay, I've got some ideas where to go. On the beginning of the karate chop, even though there's all this fear in the air, I truly love and accept all of me. And I'd like to love and accept everything and everybody related to this, including the coronavirus. Okay, and shaking that out. May seem a little strange, a little out there to actually express gratitude to the coronavirus. And if it does not true for you, just kind of let it go. Entertain the possibility. All right, so on the beginning of the eyebrows, all this fear on the outside of the eyebrow, fear of the unknown, under the eyes. How are we going to survive? Under the nose and on the chin. What about money? On the collarbone. What if all the money runs out? What if the money is running out right now? What if I can't go to my work? What if my business is failing? On the outside of the eyebrows. Maybe my business was failing before. And under the eyes. And surely my business will fail now. Under the nose and on the chin. Maybe I was just getting my business started. And now what's going to happen? That does not feel safe at all. On the wrists. How can I stay positive in the face of this calamity? On the top of the head. If I just knew I still had $5 million, I'd be okay. And everybody's in this together. And I open to the possibility, first, rephrase that. I'm going to do my best to surrender even this to the divine. I'm going to do my best to surrender this to love. I'm going to do my best to remember on the collarbone. I don't breathe myself on the wrist. I don't beat my heart. I don't make my stomach and digestion work. I thought I made money work. Well, maybe I don't. Under the eyes, maybe there's something bigger afoot here. Under the nose and on the chin. And I want to do my best. And on the collarbone, to surrender and play. To surrender and bloom where I'm planted. And shake that out. And this is a good time to put your left wrist into your right hand and squeeze gently and just say, let it go, let it go, let it go. With me again. Let it go, let it go, let it go. It's another form of God box right here. Let it go, let it go, let it go. And breathing in and on the out breath, say peace. Peace. Oh, thank you for those hearts, those peace hearts. So my friend Maggie is on this morning, and for those of you live or listening, Maggie is my Anamkara, one of my Anamkaras, which means soul friend, and she is the priestess over there on the Anamkara house, and she and I have been inspired to jump on a very positive bandwagon. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's all sorts of amazing live virtual events that are being offered to help uplift our spirits during these times. Last night, if you are a sound bath person, last night I stumbled upon Bodhi Setchko, that's BODHISETCHKO, and he said for 21 days he's going to do these live sound baths. I've seen him in person. It was amazing. There are just, if you set your intention to find positive things on the internet, you will. I know that for sure. So back to Maggie and me. Maggie and I are going to be offering on a Saturday morning from about 9:45 to noon. I think it's going to be something like that, and give you the specific details if you private message me. And it is going to be a time of practicing relational presence, where we get to really feel the stillness and the connection that we have in the stillness to each other. Geography does not define relational presence. Intention defines relational presence, and connection, magical connection, defines that. So we will be in relational presence. We will practice that, hearing each other, sharing our voices. We will do some tapping, and then Maggie will be leading us through some oracle cards. We will ask questions of the oracle cards. If you've never experienced one of her lives, please do. They're on Thursdays at noon at the Anamkara house. And join us on Saturday, so that we can get together and together lift up not only our spirits, but make a difference in the world. Let the goodness that we create, the high vibration that we co-create, ripple out to the world. If you are interested in that, please private message me, either here on Wake Up to Vibrant Living or on my Jean Catherine Carlson page. Private message me there. Join us. We would love to have you. And then tomorrow, I will be a little bit later. We will be doing tapping tomorrow on Saturday at 9:30, and Sunday will be a Sunday evening event. And then we will get back into the week, where we are going to, my commitment is to tap with you every day, and to have this available, again, whether you show up live or on the recording. I thank you for every tool you are bringing to this planet right now, to yourself, to bloom where we are planted. And so it shall be, or something so much better. Be well and enjoy your day.